And we're back at it again with another live one for all you Bi-Conics wrestling fanatics out there. And welcome to another episode of the Raw Squad, your Monday Night Raw review for October 2nd, 2023. I am one of your co-hosts, Mikey, as joined with me always is the lovely Miniford, as he is known around these parts right here. Minnie, how are you today, my friend? Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could have taken a nap today, but it's all good. We're going to quickly go through what was the go home show for Monday Night Raw. Again, the go home shows don't feel like go home shows within the last couple of months or so. It's so
I
weird.
feel like I go home.
I mean, with Fastlane this upcoming Saturday, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we did get more matches, but you know, we'll get to those when we get to them. Again, I think just overall initial thoughts, I feel like this was not really a go home show. I mean, we got some cool stuff on it, but it feels like, again, between Payback and Fastlane, the builds to these have been afterthoughts, and eventually, hopefully, the build to Survivor Series is better.
But it does seem like this is a Fastlane was more of a SmackDown show, so there's not really much.
I guess that's true, but you know, let's just jump right into it. So, we were supposed to get Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler, and so that's what was opening up Raw. I was like, oh, awesome, cool. No, that didn't happen because then Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley came out, and then these four women just brawled with each other and started fighting. And I'm just
the Raw of returns.
The returns here.
Back.
Everybody came back, and then, you know, some things had to get pulled, which we'll talk about later in the show. But again, we were supposed to get Nia versus Shayna. Did not happen. Rhea and Raquel returned, and so these girls, everybody fought, and the security had to try to pull them apart. But, you know, Rhea Ripley took everybody out. So I was like, oh, okay. So no women's match. That's fine. At least the women started the show if you really wanted to go there. There was a women's match, and we'll get to that later, but did we want to call it? I guess it's a match, even though it was like 2.5 minutes, but we'll get there.
It's better than nothing.
That's fair, I guess. And Rhea Ripley did do a lot of the leading this episode for Judgment Day, because that's exactly what happened in the next segment. So as soon as the brawl was over, you know, we had the Judgment Day, Rhea, Dominic, and Damian out there. She was... Well, Rhea said during this promo that Finn got injured. I don't know if he was really injured or something happened, but I hope not, because we don't need more people getting injured at the moment. But Rhea is not happy that while she was gone, Judgment Day managed, excuse my French, they managed to fuck everything up while she was gone. Everybody's fighting, nobody's winning, and she was ripping it into Damian and saying, you were supposed to handle all this, and I come back and you didn't handle anything. And then Damian literally threw Dominic under the bus, which was the funniest thing that I saw during this promo. I mean, which is very true. It's just like, listen, I already know that I messed up, but I'm going to be honest. I still have my tag title. I still have the Money in the Bank briefcase. And your boy over there lost his title to Trick Williams. And she turned around and she ripped it into Dominic. And she said, I got you a rematch on NXT to face Trick for the North American Championship. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, does that mean Trick is losing it? Oh, man, I hope not. But we'll see what happens with that. And then she said, I was like, please don't do this. Please don't do this to Trick. Let him have somewhat of a title run, but we'll see what happens with that. And Rhea gave Dominic the ultimatum. If you don't win that title, don't bother coming home. I'm like, scandal. So
scandalicious.
Yeah, so that was the first half. And then the second half of this, Jay comes out, interrupts, literally is like, are we hitting on Rhea Ripley? Is that what we're doing now? I love the line, though. Is like, we missed you. We all missed you. You have bigger balls than Roman Reigns ever did. I was just like, damn. I was like, Jay don't care no more, and I love it. Of course, Damian was going to fight him, but then Dominic's like, oh, no, you disrespected mommy. So then a brawl breaks out. Cody Rhodes comes out. And then we get confirmation that Damian and Finn are going to defend their tag team championships, Fastlane versus Cody and Jay. Sure. Okay. Fine. Whatever. Minnie, what did you think of this Judgment Day and Jey Uso segment just as a whole?
Eh, I mean, yeah, it's nice.
Jesus. I mean,
You could have cut that down to 15 minutes and put a match in there.
you really could have. I don't get why Raw keeps going back and forth with opening, like, with the first half hour with, like, no wrestling. I'm like, how you manage that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Guys, this is a wrestling show, but we're not going to wrestle.
Again, I agree with you in the sense that it feels like Fastlane is like a SmackDown dedicated pay-per-view, but, you know, we got to have some Raw matches on there. I really think they should have had this Intercontinental Championship at Fastlane, but, you know, whatever. Have a pop at the end for what we got at the end of this Monday Night Raw, but sure, fine, whatever.
I was so happy about that, but the crowd did not seem excited about it.
I'm going to yell at the crowd when we get to that because they suck. They really suck this episode, but well, I'm going to yell at them when we get to the ending because they managed to ruin a pretty awesome return. So after all this is done, we get our first match like half an hour later. It is Imperium, which is being represented by Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, taking on Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy lose. It makes me hurt. What happened? Like, Chad Gable got this awesome push and then nothing. I hope not. I'm like, I hate it. I mean, this was a fine match, but again, we're spinning our wheels because I'm like, this is like the 50th iteration we've had of some sort of Imperium versus Alpha Academy. I'm like, there are other teams. That is very fair. At least it was a tag team match because Gunther was going to be busy later tonight with Tommaso Ciampa, which Tommaso Ciampa, I love him too. But yeah, overall, this match was fine. I will say poor Otis. Otis always gets pinned in his matches, which I guess is okay. Yeah.
I mean, I think they're still trying to save Chad Gable for some sort of push later on. I don't know, considering what happened later, we still could get Chad Gable versus Gunther for the IC belt.
I would love
Survivor Series.
Yep, I would love nothing more than that, but we'll see what happens. Again, Imperium win this match. It's fine. I was sad. This match made me sad.
At least the match was good. Chad Gable, he's always really good. Both the members of Imperium can put up some good matches, so it wasn't too bad. I like Imperium's music, so I was pretty happy. That was dope, by the way.
Their music's great. So after the match, we head backstage where Tegan Nox is with Adam Pearce because Tegan was supposed to face Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's Championship, but oh no, we have to wait because Becky has a hole in her arm that she received during her match against Tiffany at No Mercy. I'm like, Tegan has the worst luck ever. If it's not injury, something always happens. But at least they didn't pull her off of television completely because she is trying to tell Pierce, you know, I'm going to be patient. I appreciate you telling me. And then who walks in? Chelsea Green. And basically this sets up a match between Chelsea and Tegan because Chelsea is being Karen Chelsea. Listen, I love Chelsea Green. Can we stop punishing her? Like, what did she do? Because she keeps losing and she's the women's tag team. She's one half of the women's tag team champion. I'm like, she's getting.
This is more of a reminder of how do we.
Just let's scrap him if we're not really going to do anything with him. I'm like, come on now. So Chelsea versus Tegan will happen later. The next match we get is a squash match. Bronson Reed taking on Cedric Alexander. Oh, Cedric. Shelton Benjamin's gone. Like,
at least Cedric. This is the first time we've seen Cedric in
forever.
Right. So at least we got. I mean, yes, he didn't get a TV entrance, but at least he was on TV.
I'm not gonna lie. Nobody should lose their job, but I am surprised that Cedric, because he has not been on television in a while, I'm surprised they kept him. I'm hoping they use him for something, but who knows? Bronson, this was a squash match. He hits him with a crossbody and then hits Cedric with a tsunami for a win. Bronson picks up the victory. Bronson's another one. What are we doing with him?
Getting ready to push him for something.
Sure. I don't know what we're pushing him for, but again, it's a lot of spinning the wheels is what I'm going to be repeating throughout this review. because we're spinning our wheels for a lot of this stuff. And hopefully after Fastlane, we can start developing what we're going to get at Survivor Series, but we'll see about that. Backstage, Drew McIntyre is with Adam Pearce, says he's not interested in being on Miz TV and instead wants to address the fans. Pearce says that he's basically asking Drew if everything's all right and whatnot, because the last few weeks have been kind of crazy. And Drew said that no one did a right thing when he was beaten down by the Bloodline in the past. So we're still slowly teasing this Drew McIntyre heel run. Just give me Broken Dreams as his entrance music again. We'll call it a day. I love it. So then we get the Intercontinental Championship contract signing. This is how great Tommaso Ciampa of wrestler he is. He entered. I was excited. And this is the first time I'm going to yell at the crowd. I'm like, the crowd sucked this episode of Raw because everybody was quiet. And then it took only one promo. It took only one promo from Tommaso Ciampa, and the crowd was behind him. That's how great Tommaso is.
I love Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, for sure. So basically, Gunther and Ciampa go back and forth, but it was mostly Ciampa talking here. He talked about how he's going to win the title because it's been his dream since he was young, not just to him, but it's his entire family. And he's going to be fighting for his dream and for everyone else. And instead of having this contract for a future match, Tommaso suggests that they have this match now. And Gunther says, while I respect your motives, and this title means a lot because I've been holding on to it. But of course, doing the heel thing, I don't think you're ready for this. And Gunther goes to sign the contract to teach Ciampa a lesson after he agrees to have the match later tonight. Gunther tries to attack Ciampa, but Ciampa flips the table and attacks him. I was like, yes.
Threw a chair at him.
Yes, he threw a chair at him too. It was beautiful.
Those, office chairs have got more W's than
most wrestlers.
Some wrestlers.
The chairs have
now 3 different wrestlers I've seen.
Yeah, the chair has had better record, has a better record than most of the wrestlers right now. And Ciampa puts him in a hold. He hits him with the Sicilian stretch, but Gunther escapes. So it's just like, oh, I immediately knew. I'm like, oh, they're not going to let you win, Tommaso, but it's going to be a banger of a match when we get to it. It was. And I'm so excited. So next we get, again, we're spinning our wheels here because it's the iteration of the New Day and the Viking Raiders. So Xavier Woods takes on Ivar. Again, Ivar is such a deceptively athletic big man. This was a fun match. The only critique I have is we saw this last week with Kofi and it was just a rehash. Just we substituted Kofi for Xavier Woods. And of course, I think we're waiting until, Eric gets recovered from whatever he's dealing with. But Xavier picks up the victory here. Again, short match. It was fine. Again, spinning the wheels.
I think they're waiting for people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So then we get to probably the only match that has been built to Fastlane very well. We get Seth Rollins in the ring. So Seth Rollins comes to the ring with Michael Cole. And I just want to say before I go into this, I want to give Michael Cole his flowers because Seth Rollins put him over in the sense that Michael Cole in his 26-year career in WWE, he has only missed 2 shows commentating. And I'm just like, Michael Cole is out here. He really is. He's been to every show and he only missed 2. And then Michael Cole becomes the heel. He's just like, Rollins, you're kind of a puppet. Thanks to Nakamura. I'm like, oh shit, heel Michael Cole is back. And I loved it. So in this interview, Rollins says that basically Michael Cole and Rollins go back and forth. Michael Cole with the questions. Rollins basically says that, when it comes to Nakamura, he can't believe that he won a match against him, but he knows how dangerous he is. And he hypes up the last man standing match we're getting at Fastlane, which I'm excited for. That should be good. And then Nakamura appears on the screen with a pre-tape promo. And of course, babyface in it, Rollins watches the screen and Nakamura attacks him with the Kinshasa to the back of the head. And while the video is still playing, by the way, which is funny. So the video of Nakamura went from counting to 10, but Rollins stood up at 7. Nakamura attacked Rollins with chair shots. The count started again. Rollins stood at 9. Shinsuke attacked him once more and delivered a backbreaker onto a chair, and then also hit him with the Kinshasa, and then counted to 10 and raised the world title. This segment ruled because this is the only match that has been built properly for Fastlane, and I'm excited for this last man standing match between these two for that title at Fastlane. Minnie, what were your thoughts about this segment?
Let our people do their things. Let Seth and Shinsuke have an hour so they can just put on a masterpiece, please.
I love it. I'm excited for this last man standing match at Fastlane. Please give it time. So what's after this? Backstage, we see Becky in a sling, which basically, her and Tegan exchange some words, and we're still looking forward to this match because Becky really wants to face Tegan. And as Tegan goes to leave, Natalya meets Tegan and says that she's impressed and proud of her and apologizes for the things she says. I'm like, cool, Natalya. Sure, fine, whatever. Again, Natalya, I feel like, doesn't get enough credit or gets the opportunities, but this was weird to have her here, which leads into Tegan's versus Chelsea's match. This was a quick 2-minute match. Tegan wins with the shiniest wizard, and then Natalya lifted Tegan's hands post-match, so I'm like, Natalya and Tegan are going to be a thing now, I guess? Sure. I'm going to be honest, at least Tegan got to have some sort of match on TV, but I'm excited for when Becky's ready because Tegan versus Becky is going to absolutely rule, and I cannot wait. It was literally like in this whole, from the backstage to this match is literally like 5 minutes of television.
Roman Reigns.
God, I was like, Roman Reigns' entrance, I go to the bathroom, check my email. I can make a whole sandwich, and he's still not done by the time I come back.
He makes Undertaker's entrance.
Nothing for me still beats Undertaker's like entrance when they did the big old celebration. What was it like at Survivor Series like a year or two ago? I was like, his entrance took like half an hour. I'm like sitting here. I'm just like, bro, can we speed it up?
I mean, Roman had the one where Bloodline was all being getting their ass kicked in the ring, and Roman came out. It took like 5 minutes to actually come out to the ring and run to the ring as his whole entire crew was getting their asses jumped. Hilarious.
Yeah. His WrestleMania entrance wasn't even that long, which was great.
Cool, though.
It was cool with the pianos and everything. So after Tegan picks up the victory here, Drew McIntyre's next in the ring, and he basically says that he doesn't want to give any explanation to anyone in the back, and he only wants to explain to the WWE Universe because they're the ones who have put him through his ups and downs, firings, and titles. Drew says that he would stop being the savior and getting involved in fights that he did not start. So again, he's just like, bro, if I'm not involved in it, I don't need to deal with it. And, he's been doing it for years, and he's kind of done with doing that. Drew didn't save anyone, and neither has anyone else saved him. Cody went for the save, but that's Cody's own mess. And Cody forgiving Jay is a weakness, not his strength. I'm like, yep, here we go. Drew McIntyre is becoming a heel again, and I love it. And then Mr. Tiny Balls himself, Miz, interrupts and is upset at Drew for canceling Miz TV. And literally, McIntyre's like, I'm going to beat your ass. Let's have a match. Miz says he's not dressed for the match. And then when Drew turns his back, Miz attacks him with the mic, which literally McIntyre was pissed and went to attack Miz, but the officials stepped in. So we're going to get a quick match between these two at some point. So it was fine. Backstage, we see your new NXT North American champion, Trick Williams. This ad-libs for this is beautiful. It's like, just put that on his actual entrance. Yeah. Man, Trick Williams have so much charisma. It's like ridiculous how great he is. And it's
super athletic too.
Oh, for sure. So Trick is backstage. He introduces himself to the Raw audience. And before he can get anywhere, after he says that he's going to be defending the title against Dominic, Rhea, Dominic, as well as JD McDonough show up. And Rhea says that Dominic...
Wait,
go ahead.
Does that mean JD McDonough's officially a part of Monday?
I have no idea anymore. Like it's like a will they, won't they situation. Like they're cool with JD, and then they want to fight him, and then Damian wants to kick his ass half the time. I don't know anymore. But what this tells us is that, and I hope they don't do this, but it seems that Rhea and JD are going to be in NXT with Dominic, which means that Carmelo currently is on his own. And I think he's going to, Trick is on his own. I think he's going to ask Carmelo for help. I'm afraid that Carmelo is going to screw him out of the title. At the end of No Mercy, yeah. Seriously, me and Will covered everything that happened and gave our opinions. It was a great time. Man, it makes me sad. We'll see what happens. So after this, Cody has an interview. He's interviewed near the ring and is asked about his tag team match. Rhodes says he never thought he'd be teaming up with Jay, but the Judgment Day made it happen. And him and Cody are going to be on SmackDown, which the Judgment Day will also be there. So we'll see what happens. I'm like, cool, Cody on SmackDown. That's fine. I think what we're I think we're getting.
He's going to be on SmackDown.
I thought, I mean, there's going to be See, I think I don't know, because Cody eventually has to move over to SmackDown because he has to complete the story because he's supposed to face Roman again at WrestleMania. At least that's the plan for now. So I'm thinking that if we don't get an official announcement, I think there might be a War Games match between the Judgment Day, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cody, and Jay. And then if Cody's team loses, Cody has to go to SmackDown or something. I don't know. We need to find a logical way to get him over to SmackDown.
Roman, he just goes, hey, so now that paperwork is done at SmackDown, because that's how we got Jay.
Right.
Even though the paperwork took him 4 months.
Sure. Fine. And then we get to our main event, which is the Intercontinental Championship match. I'm just going to say it. Obviously, this is the easiest match of the night for me. This is match of the night.
The only match that had more than 2 minutes.
Right. I mean, by default, this is match of the night, but it's Tommaso Ciampa and Gunther. This is like shades of black and gold NXT in this match. This match ruled. I loved it so much. But, what I loved is that Gunther only won because he made Ciampa pass out with the sleeper hold. So Ciampa still looks strong here. And then...
Well, that's not what was important. Gunther wins, leaves, Imperium comes out, does a little bit of jumping. They're doing their little thing. Do you know what happens?
Tell me, Minnie.
The boy, Johnny Gargano, is back. You know what that means? Mikey, tell what that means.
It means DIY is back in the building.
I was so annoyed at the crowd. They were quiet.
Right. Okay.
Whenever the whole universe has been they've been waiting for Johnny to come back. Everybody's been waiting for Johnny to come back. He comes back, and only half the crowd is giving a cheer.
Listen, I'm gonna talk to you real quick. Let me talk to the crowd real quick. So,
talk your shit, Mikey.
So where were we? I think we were.
Though. There's people actually in the call for the other game.
So, okay, really quickly, I think we were in San Jose. We were in California, but let me tell you, this crowd, you guys were not great. And I don't understand why. You guys were horrible. And here's why. I get not everyone watched Black and Gold and NXT, but this is Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Their rivalry from the tag teams to the feud that they had when they turned single stars. Come on now. It was beautiful. It transcended everything, and it's always on the top of people's lists when we talk about them. But this crowd was not into it, and it made me upset. I don't want to talk for too long because we'll be here forever. But overall, I think this was outside of the main event match, this really didn't add anything to It didn't add anything to Fastlane. I'm going to give this a solid 2.5 out of 5 empanadas. Again, nothing was inherently bad. It's just that the pacing was weird and it didn't build anything to Fastlane. And I agree with my co-host here. I feel like Fastlane is geared more towards SmackDown than it is Raw because I feel like Payback was more Raw-centric than SmackDown. So I guess we'll see what happened. And that's actually going to be it. My co-host is busy taking care of business, so I will lead us out here. Thank you so much for tuning into another Raw Squad.
It was okay. It was like a solid 3 out of 5 minis.
There we go. So, if you enjoyed this Raw Squad review, you can check out the other reviews we have here at the Bi-Conics Wrestling YouTube channel, where we got a lot going on. The Wrestle Dream for AEW pay-per-view review just dropped, so make sure you go check that out. You can also find us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod on Instagram, Threads, X, Facebook. We're all over the place. And then if you want to hear more unhinged wrestling opinions, check us out at the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast, where podcasts can be found. I am Mikey, and this has been Minnie. Thank you so much for tuning into another Raw Squad review. And as always, until the next review, remember, take care of yourself. Yep. Wrong promotion, but that's okay. Take care of yourself. Love one another. And until the next review, we'll see you later.